Welcome. I am Dr. Amy Joy, the positive psychologist. I'm glad you're here with us. As always, hit that like and subscribe button. And here we go. Have you ever wondered if you suffer from imposter syndrome? I know I have. Growing up was challenging to say the least. And for those of us who still sort of suffer the consequences of PTSD or complex post traumatic stress disorder, I often find that those who've gone through childhood trauma, and that's often who's diagnosed with PTSD or CPTSD, we often don't know our value and our worth. We under earn. We don't think we're good enough. We tend to hang out with people who are sort of those um, energy suckers. That does not mean that if my friends are listening to this, it's not you. I've learned how to adjust and adapt and do the things that I know others who have my experience and my education. I need to do what they do without having to feel what necessarily they feel, and maybe they're feeling the same thing I am when it comes to this unworthiness. This, well, I guess it's good enough, good enough, good enough, and sometimes good enough is not. Oh my gosh, my cat's playing with the. Oh no, stinky cat. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Oh my moly. Oh. Okay, where were we? Um, so yeah, maybe they don't necessarily feel it either. Maybe they don't feel it in their bones that they're charging what they should be charging or whatever the case might be. So that was a recent issue that I had was how much I charge per hour as a professional speaker. And I have been on the low end of professional public speakers as far as how much I charge per hour and per session and per, 3-hour seminar. For as long as I have begun. More than 10 years ago I started public speaking, and for a long time I didn't charge anything because I just thought, well, this is a service that I do. And for a lot of I still do the pro bono things every now and again, but for the most part, this is my living, this is what I do, this is how I pay my bills. And you know I'm educated, I'm experienced, and I need to charge what I think I'm worth. The problem is when you have imposter syndrome, you don't think you're worth much, so you don't charge much. So we often under earn. We take the crappy jobs because it's the easiest ones to get, and we feel like, hey, well, I people like me, this is what we do, this is where we work, this is who we are. But we really need to change how we function in that realm. And I've started to make a shift in that direction. I have started to, not started to, I've actually had really wonderful friends over the last, 10, 15 years who have shown me what it is to be not just a professional and charge what I'm worth, but what it means to be graceful and kind and forgiving and still assertive and strong and independent. I won't say independent, but interdependent, right? We all need somebody. Whether for you that's God or that's, something else. For me, God for sure, therapist for sure, family for sure, friends are invaluable. But it also depends on who you hang out with. So one of my closest friends is an amazing public speaker and trainer, corporate trainer, and I'm sure I'll have her on one of these YouTubes or podcasts pretty soon. And she charges 4 times what I charge per hour, and I often would just wish, oh, I wish I was there, I wish I was there. And she's like, why not just charge it? Right. So that's what I'm doing now, and it still feels very uncomfortable. I'm sure it will feel uncomfortable until enough of those gigs, enough of those speaking events come through, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like. And it's probably going to take a little longer for me than it does for some who don't have CPTSD, who don't have this nagging voice in the back of their head, feeling that they're not worthy, they're not valuable enough, they're not like other people. And, at some point we we either get to a point where we're accepting who we are, and with all the flaws and the bumps and the giggles and whatever, we're accepting all of those things and moving forward and going, you know what, I'm gonna look at the industry and charge what I'm worth. I'm going to accept that I'm not the perfect parent, and move on with what I have, and give it my all, give my best. I'm not the perfect spouse, but I'm going to do the best I can with what I have from where I'm at, and that's really, I think the goal of most of us living this life is, just doing the best we can. And there goes Kiki. Isn't she lovely? Um, a great resource for finding out more about who you are and staying in the present moment and healing trauma is a book called Write Your Story, a guided journal for healing trauma. It's written by myself, Amy Joy, and it is available on Amazon.com. There is a link down below. Just click on that and it will take you right to the page. I hope to see you soon. And don't forget, click that like button and um, so she always likes to show her hind end in these things. So she loves the books. So anyway, so if you're dealing with imposter syndrome, it is not that uncommon, particularly for those who have gone through childhood trauma, or who suffer with CPTSD. Again, it's complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It is really, really important you get around people who are not necessarily dealing with that all the time, right? So maybe they have bouts of it, but they're charging what they're worth. They know the value of their experience and their education and um, their role in life, and they're willing to go out there and charge what they believe is fair, but also just, and whatever that means to you. So for some people it's $5 an hour, for some people it's $1,000 an hour, but it really depends. You should be looking at the industry. So if you're a professional public speaker, that means one thing. If you're an editor, it means another. If you're an attorney, so all of these things. So if you're, striving to just kind of be good enough and just get by because that's where you think you deserve to be, you're definitely suffering from imposter syndrome. And I would encourage you to find some like-minded friends, who maybe not like-minded friends like you, right? So not others who are thinking they're unworthy, but find some friends who know who they are in the industry, and surround yourself with those people and who are willing to encourage you and mentor you and be a friend of sorts. So that is all I have on imposter syndrome for now. I guess I think I will bring back my friend, and we can talk more in more detail about what that means, what it looks like, and let's see if she struggles with that too, and what she does to remedy that. So so Kiki and I are gonna have a little cuddle here apparently. So I will see you all soon. And that concludes our episode of The Positive Psychologist. As always, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.